videocast will feature the benefits of using fatty acid chemistries. These low molecular weight, low pigment affinity functions do come with a little bit of a surprise. With me today is Ron Brashear from the Marine and Protective End-Use, who's going to shed a little bit of light on the powerful punch that these older generation additives supply. Ron, thank you so much for being here.
Michelle, thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate your efforts, and I'm sure our guests will as well.
Thank you so much, Ron. Before we begin, can you tell us a little bit about your end use?
Well, I cover the marine and protective segment of paint and coatings applications. So really anything that has to do with large scale construction, shipbuilding, oil field applications, bridges and tunnels, anything that's heavy duty, that's where I live. And also harsh environments, so very anti-corrosive environments is the area that I'm directly involved with.
Thank you for the clarity on that. Your end use sounds extremely complex, but yet you are using the greatest amount of fatty acid wetting and dispersing additives. Can you explain why?
An analogy that I use is kind of like what we consider to be older music is good music. And so even though the fatty acid chemistry is a little bit older, when I first began to become more involved with the technical aspects of wetting and dispersing as it relates to the end use, we begin to notice that we see a lot of many different binder systems that are used. We see everything from polyurethanes, epoxies, polyaspartics, polysiloxanes, alkyds. So we see every type of binder imaginable. But as I begin to dive a little bit further into best ways to formulate, what I always notice is that there are always fatty acid options available, irrespective of the binder systems that we were looking at. So that flipped the switch to say, hey, this is a technology that brings a lot of benefit and a lot of performance to the table.
Thank you. I know that we learned a little bit about the fatty acids in the learning modules, and I highly suggest people go there if you want to learn more. But in that, I speak a lot about the differences between the stabilization mechanisms and their modalities. And of the two, deflocculation and controlled flocculation, the surprise with fatty acid chemistries is that they actually do both or can do both. And this is a great feature. How does this feature work in your end use, Ron?
Well, these molecular weight species, as you call them, actually do heavy lifting, particularly as it relates to primers, where we're looking to suspend very heavy pigments or pigments in very high concentrations. So the ability of the fatty acid chemistry to modify the system to where we can get improvements in application properties such as anti-settling, phase separation, storage stability is critical to the performance aspects of primer systems. So that's really why they're still heavily used in that space.
I think controlled flocculation additives are definitely unique with fatty acid chemistries. And I think honestly, some of the issue will be, when do I use them? Like, when am I supposed to use this versus deflocculation? And you mentioned this, huge benefit in primers. What if you're not using primers?
Well, their use level extends beyond primers. It's really any situation to where you're looking to strategically improve the low shear rheology of the system. Like I said, we have the ability to tailor these additives to give moderate controlled flocculation to very strong controlled flocculation. And it's really to specifically address low shear rheological behaviors. So when you're using a fatty acid additive, it's like you can get a little bit of free rheology modifier. And the benefit is that it's strictly limited to the low shear application range. So therefore, we don't have any real impact on things like your package viscosity or your application viscosity. But when you're really looking to achieve the best levels of stability, We're talking about storage stability, transportation stability, and application stability. These products fit the bill.
It's very exciting to have you here because you are definitely one of our rheology experts. And that perspective, particularly with these fatty acid chemistries, is needed for sure. And absolutely, while I have you here, can you go over when it would make sense for formulators to use a controlled flocculating additive versus a standalone rheology modifier?
Well, typically standalone rheology modifiers, they can have impact in many different rheological shear rate regions. Let's say, for instance, you're happy with your package viscosity, whether it be a Brookfield or KU viscosity, you're happy with that. You're happy with your application viscosity, but you really do need to address your stability. These additives selectively target low shear rheology and only have impact in that area. So therefore, you're not going to compromise your other viscosity profile just because you want to see improvement in low shear. So that's really the biggest benefit from controlled flocculating technologies. Let's keep in mind that in some of these systems, the formulator is not looking to achieve the highest levels of gloss. They're not trying to achieve the best optical properties. But when you're looking to improve your stability, these additives fit the bill.
Okay, you mentioned additives. Which ones are your favorites?
Well, if we look at what's really available, the ones that we see the most usage of in the formulations that I see would be the products in the Anti-Terra 200 family. So you're looking at products like Anti-Terra 202, 203, 204, and these will typically be used in more your conventional formulation space up to high solids. If you need something for solvent-free applications, we have the BIC P105. And we also had the Anti-Terra 250 for waterborne applications. So we've had products that cover the vast majority of formulations that we're going to see in the market.
You've addressed some wonderful features for the formulator, and particularly giving them some additives to add to their bench. And I think Anti-Terra 250 is an example of the evolution of these fatty acid chemistries in application to today's formulators. So the antiquity of the theory or the thought of fatty acid chemistries might be a barrier to some of those first selections. Most people we know are looking for the latest and the greatest. And I think you've given and proven some, some reasons for everybody to look at these fatty acid chemistries, because we certainly have a lot of benefits to using, quote, older chemistries. We're old people ourselves, or I'm going to say myself, but, it's not time to throw us out yet. So please share with our audience the various ways that you can use their lab for assistance.
Part of the function of us as a company is that we supply very good products to the market. We're also, one of the other things that we're very well known for is our level of technical expertise. And we offer that to our customers as well. So they have access to our laboratories to help assist with screenings. And we can do on-site technical support. So we run the gamut of being able to best fulfill the needs of our customers. And part of that is product, and the other aspect of that is service.
Ron and I are available to help guide you with additive selection questions. Obviously, we can use the lab. You can use any other information that we are, selection charts that we have developed. And you can always reach us through the help desk. Ron, thank you for your time and your talent today. Is there anything else that you want to leave us with?
Hey, remember, old music is good music. The fatty acid chemistry is a little long in the tooth, but with recent advances, continuing to bring these technologies in different forms, they're still very viable and still very much contributing to the success of the formulator in the field. So don't knock it till you try.
Thank you so much for your time again, Ron. I really appreciate you.
No, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it.